You're listening to your favorite podcast about Flesh and Blood and its community. Welcome to Last Ditch Effort. All right, welcome back, everyone, to this week's episode of Last Ditch Effort. I am Maurice, joined by my co-host Ralph.
Hi, Maurice. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Coming off of a medium successful run in Prague, I would say. What about you?
Not so successful run in Prague.
Mm-hmm.
But at least the food was good in Prague.
The food was great. The event was great. I want to talk about that first. Dive right in.
Yeah, I think so. So first we do a small recap of Prague, and then we talk about the CC meta as well as the calling in Memphis. Yeah. Just resulted in Brody's win yesterday.
Lots of stuff happened since we last recorded. So last we recorded right before the new year. And since then, we went to the world premiere Hunted in Prague. We've played a lot of Sealed and Limited.
Ready.
Yeah.
Set release and shaked up the meta as well.
Yeah, I think so.
It's a lot to talk about. So let's start with Prague first. The pre-release release event.
World premiere Prague.
Yeah.
How did you like it?
I liked it very much. At first, I was a bit skeptical about the location because it was a bit outside of the city. But we found a really nice Airbnb next to the train station where we had like 30 minutes to get to the event, to the venue, which was super nice in the end. I loved the venue, and especially the food. They had a food stand with some grandpas and grandmas making food outside.
Yeah, the food situation was definitely fantastic.
It was great.
Say, which is usually not the case. So this time, I think LSS or whoever organized it, maybe it was even LR events. Whoever organized the food should be patted on the back.
I had time to get one sausage hot dog.
Yeah,
from the stand with a chili sausage. It was amazing.
And they had like beers for the first time. I don't think they ever have beer at those menus. So
the sad thing was that we didn't have a lot of time to enjoy the food and beer, because every time you played a Sealed event, you just barely finished, and you went to the next event and built the next Sealed pool and kept on playing and playing.
Me and Beshti had lots of time because we went 1 and 3 during the calling, and then scrubbed out and got beers and food. But okay,
let's talk about the calling and what you played. What was your pick?
Let's start with the world premiere. Because the world premiere I thought went pretty great. I started out playing Fang, and I went 3-1. I opened like a pretty nice Fang pool actually, which I didn't really know at the time. I just like had a lot of attack reactions, so I figured I'll try Fang, and I think that was a very good pick for like the world premiere.
Yeah, it seems Fang is almost in like it's not that hard to get a great Fang
and
pool,
my thinking was that since this is the world premiere, nobody knows any of the attack reactions that are in the set, so nobody knows what to play around.
That's true.
That definitely happened like once or twice where people were just like, oh, I don't know what I have to play around, so I'll just block for like 6 on this like attack, and I'm just going the draconic instant that like gives the next one +3, and then I blow them out on the next attack. That happened like more than once.
Yeah, I think I almost lost against Fang because I overblocked the first deck as well. They come in for 1. And you'd be like, oh, is it going to pump this one? Or is it going to be the next one?
Yeah. But in general, the atmosphere was really cool at the world premiere. There was a lot of new players. The event was completely sold out. So they had 600 slots and every single one was taken. We had friends that came with us to Prague that couldn't get a ticket in time. That just like couldn't play the world premiere. So I think a good sign for the game, I suppose.
Yeah, but even like if you didn't have a ticket for the world premiere, there was just like another Sealed event starting after it.
Right, yeah.
So you got the chance to play anyway, even if you didn't have the ticket. But
yeah, in general, I feel like the organization was done very well this time. There's been like events where it was like a little bit more shaky, and events like kind of were scheduled in a weird way so that if you played like one event, you couldn't play any of the side events. But this time they were really like, if you just came there to play sealed, you could play sealed like every 2 hours or every 3 hours.
All day long, yeah.
All day long, yeah.
It was a bit stressful for me.
Because you played all the sealed events?
Not all, but I signed up for the next one.
Yeah.
So as I said, you basically played. You were at the finish of your first sealed event, and you were at the last match, and then the next event was already starting because I played Arachne and almost got into overtime a bit too much.
Yeah.
Especially playing for the first time with the set. And yeah, so you were playing and you had to build your next pool already for the next seal event. So it was as I say, the events were timed perfectly to go from event to event. There was no waiting time at all to play the game.
Yeah, they even like made it so they delayed the next event by like 20 minutes so that people could like catch up and like play the other event as well. The only criticism that I have is that, or like there's two criticisms. One was that you could only sign up for events through their online platform, which I thought was like a little annoying. So you needed an account with LR events and you needed to like pay online for everything, which was like a little bit annoying, since there were definitely people there that like wanted to sign up on site and like just couldn't. So they had to like talk to their friend who like had data to like sign up, and it was a bit chaotic, I think.
Yeah, it was also a bit weird because when you had the Fable package, you signed up for an event, you wanted to use your voucher, then you had to go through all your mails to find the codes again. And then you put in the voucher, and then it's like, oh shit, like because of some transaction fees, whatever, there's like still 20 cents missing or something. So you had to put in your credit card
to pay the 20 cents
as well
to
get the 20 cents. But it's a small thing.
It's a small detail, but it's just kind of like that. I think that was like the only annoying part.
As long as you're not like 70 years old and you're not like you don't have everything digital, you should be fine.
Yeah. And then the other complaint I had was that there was no draft events all weekend, which I thought was a real shame because I love draft and I would have loved to like draft after like the world premiere, and then like instead of playing sealed right away, like get a draft in or something.
Yeah, we want to get to as many drafts before Pro Tour London as we can.
Yes,
right? So
exactly.
It would have been amazing to get some head start with draft training.
Maybe they're also worried that they were going to run out of product, because from what I've heard, even with like all the events, they kind of calculated it so that they would just have enough, but they were like kind of worried that by the end of the calling, they were going to not have enough product to run all the events.
Yeah,
because they just didn't think that every single event was going to be sold out, and I think it was.
Actually, I'm worried about product at the moment too. Just as a side note, yeah. I went to get my boxes in Winter Tour.
Yeah.
And he said, like, not a lot of people pre-ordered, but then everybody just bought all the product anyway.
Yeah.
So now like, the store had to at least keep one display or two to make a draft armory happen in the future. But he's out of product, basically.
Oh, okay, yeah. No, I think there's still product around at other stores, but yeah, we'll see. But I've heard that the set has sold very well, like just from like online chatter and stuff. People seem to like really like it.
So back to Prague and playing Fang.
Yes. Oh, and maybe the third criticism I also had, I heard that at the end of the calling, they like with the prize tickets, they ran out of boosters again.
It's always
like
the same.
Which happened as well in Warsaw, and that is like such a feels bad, I will say.
I just got a box of Misty with my ticks and the playmat.
Yeah, but that's fine. If you just get boosters, like that's completely fine. But I think there were people at the very end on Sunday that like wanted to trade in their tickets for their like from the last events, and there was just nothing left, you know. Oof. That like happens every now and then, and I think it's like a real like shitty feeling.
Yeah.
I'm almost like I feel like since it's such a common issue, clearly, I feel like they should have some type of system where you can like exchange your tickets after the event or something. I don't know. Maybe that's too hard. I have no idea. But I feel like they need some type of solution for this to like not happen, because it's a really like shitty feeling if you're like, oh, I saved up my like 2,000 tickets and I'm gonna go to the prize wall and there's like only a token left that I don't want, right?
Maybe like bind ticks to your gem account so they can carry over, something like that would be nice.
Yeah.
And then you can gather them and hold to them and then sell your account.
Yeah, or make it so that you can redeem it online in their store, or like, I don't know, something like that. Like make it do something, you know? Like if I think just having the situation where you're at the prize wall at like, you know, 5 or 6 on a Sunday, you're already tired, like, and then like there's just nothing for you. It's like it feels bad,
Yeah.
But yeah, other than that, world premiere, very cool. Judges were great. I saw like a lot of people were struggling with deck registration when we got to the calling, because there was like some mistake with the dagger that was like misprinted in the like normal slot instead of the extension slot. So they had to cross out all the deck registration sheets. And then the other thing was, for the first time, they were printing full art rare rainbow foils in the expansion slot instead of the non-expansion slot. So the judges had to like shout out through the hall that like, oh, you're not allowed to play those in your sealed pool, so don't register them if like people leave it in their pool, because this is the first time they've been doing this, right? Like back in all the other product, you would always be able to play rainbow foil rares. So it was very confusing, I think, especially for the new players, because I sat opposite, like not the person right opposite of me, but 2 or 3 seats down. There was someone where this was their like first ever like event. So this is the first time they've done deck registration. And the judges are like, you're allowed to play these rainbow foils, but you're not allowed to play these other rainbow foils. And they were so lost. They were just like, can I play these? Can I play that? Then the judges were like, oh, this is a silent process. You're not allowed to ask like your neighbors. And it was just like, oh my God, this poor dude. Yeah, so I feel like maybe on the world premiere, they had this like little sheet that like explained all the rules, which I thought was great.
That was great, yeah.
They should have done like something like this for the calling as well, that just like explained deck registration rules. I think that would have helped.
Sure.
Or maybe they could have just had like one handout that was like, this is the rules for the game, and on the backside it's like deck registration rules for the calling, something like that. I don't know. Help these new players
and something
out.
Like you can't play this card.
Yeah, exactly.
Just have a handout.
Just be yeah.
With pictures.
Exactly. So yeah, deck registration took a little longer than usual because of that. But everything seemed to go smoothly. I'm very sorry to the person who sat opposite of me, because the pool that he opened must have been like one of the worst ones I've ever seen. He really got like nothing good together. No. I don't know what he ended up doing. But I ended up getting 2 Majestics in my pool with the Tarantula Toxin foil and non-foil. So I kind of baited myself into playing Arachne.
Oh, but that was already in calling then, right?
Yeah, that was in the calling.
Okay. So I just want to talk about the 3 heroes and what we played, I guess.
All right.
But because you played Fang, I want to just see what are good cards for Fang. Like what are the if you open like if you open a seal pool, what are you looking for if you want to play Fang?
Yeah. So I think the most important cards are the attack reactions for Fang, especially the ones that you can play on the first chain link. So I would almost just count how many attack reactions, like draconic attack reactions you have that you can play on the first chain link. It doesn't matter if they're better on the second chain link, as long as you can just play them on the first chain link. So these are cards, like the premium cards are like a Firm Loyalty and Dear Devotion. Those that make like a fealty if you play them on the second link, but you can also play them on the first link if you want to. Then also the cards like Searing Gaze and Imperial Intent are like premium for the same reason. You can just play them on the first chain link for free, or just to give your dagger go again.
Yeah, so like Imperial Intent is just a worse version of Searing Gaze, basically.
Yeah, exactly. But you need like a critical amount of these cards. I would say if you don't open at least 7, maybe 8 of those cards that you can play on the first chain link, I almost would not recommend playing Fang. It's like a little bit, there's other versions. If you open like a lot of pre-buffs, it can also be fine.
Yeah.
And you can play like a version that doesn't rely on the draconic attack reactions. But the thing is, you need to keep your fealties around, right? So you need draconic actions anyways, or like draconic cards. So you need a certain amount of warrior attack reactions that are draconic, or draconic instants.
Yeah, but I think like the cards you talk now about are baseline.
Yeah,
they're just there to make something work. But then there's like I think the next cards you want to talk about is like the cards that make the deck really good. Like if you get Tooth of the Dragon, I think like Tooth of the Dragon is the best draconic instant you can get for Fang, right?
There's a couple of cards that really make the deck like much better. So yeah, Tooth of the Dragon is the instant that gives your next draconic attack +3.
It's your next draconic attack.
Yeah, true. It's just kind of like it opens the possibility of like baiting out your opponent. And then I think a Firm Loyalty and Dear Devotion are super premium, and Fire and Brimstone, of course, like the legendary. Any of those are insane, and can really like put you over the top. And then there's also a bunch of just warrior actions. So Twist and Turn I have found to be very good. That's the one that buffs your dagger by 4, and if it hits, you get to attack additional time with it. I found that can be like very good once you have 3 fealties, because then you can just kind of like put the hammer down and just like come in for 5, play a reaction, come in for 1, play a reaction, and then come in again.
Yeah, basically for go again on the 0 cost, and the 3 block says everything, right?
Yeah, exactly. And it's also 3 block. It costs 0. It's just everything you want. Maybe cards to avoid are, I found that all of the stances are not that good.
True.
Especially, like, I thought that like Flurry stance was going to be like insane, but it's really like not, because getting to the point where you can even find enough go again to use all 4 dagger attacks is like pretty rare. And your opponent like knows that it's coming, so it's also kind of, I don't know. I didn't like it so much. I just ended up blocking with it a lot of the time. And Agility stance I found was horrible, the one that gives your daggers go again. And oftentimes you just would rather have like any draconic reaction. And then Power Stance I actually never opened, so I don't know how that is.
Which one was Power Stance?
That's the blue one that gives your daggers +1 for the turn. Yeah, I guess it's a blue 3 block, so it can only be so bad, right?
It's fine. It's good.
Yeah, okay. Then maybe that one is playable.
I have one more question for Fang, like the big question. How many Pledge Fealty do you play?
I think the first one is amazing, so always play the first one. The second one I think is also good. I feel like after, like, it kind of depends on the rest of your pool. I think you only want so many no blocks is the thing. So let's say you open 2 Tooth of the Dragon and like 3 Pledge Fealty, then I don't know that you want to play all 5 non-blocks, right?
Yeah.
So then I would cut a Pledge Fealty over a Tooth of the Dragon. But it is probably the second best like draconic instance. So unless you open like, I don't know, 5 draconic instant no blocks, I would just play all of them.
All right.
Yeah. Then maybe some other cards. I thought Cut from the Same Cloth is very good. The one that reveals your opponent's hand, and if they have an attack reaction, they get marked. It's
also
just
0 for
it's just
4.
really, yeah, also 0 for 4. It's just really good to look at your opponent's hand, honestly. I found a lot of the times, even if you don't get the mark, just knowing what they're going to do in their next turn is so important, because I feel like a lot of the set kind of comes down to tricking your opponent or playing around your opponent's tricks. So if you know exactly what's going to hit you and what trick they have and what they could play, it's just valuable, man. I found Cut from the Same Cloth. Even in yellow, I think it's playable. Obviously better in red. Scar Tissue, I found really good. The one that on-hit marks, even though it's not a draconic attack reaction. Sometimes it's just fine to attack with this, pop a fealty, mark them, and then attack with the other dagger. And if they don't block, you get the fealty right back. So,
yep, marking in general, creating fealty.
Yeah,
great.
I think it's kind of important to note that there's no way to unmark yourself. So you have to get hit. In both Fang and Syndra, being marked basically means that you're gonna get a fealty at some point, right?
The worst thing with marked, what can happen to you, is if you play against Arachne and you're at 1 life and you're marked.
Yeah.
Because he's online all the time.
So you want to move into Arachne?
Yeah, that's what I played in the pre-release.
Yeah, maybe you should talk about him, because I did terrible with Arachne.
Okay, I'll try my best. So actually, my only Majestic I had was a generic one, and it was the Rotten Remains. So this one is a blue, 3 block, cost 0, and says when this attacks, you may banish a card with 1 attack from each hero's graveyard. If you do this, this gets +1 attack, then repeat this process, and its base is 1. So you basically banish out of your grave and your opponent's grave, and then let's say one has 4 1 attacks and the other has 6. You banish 4 times, and then it gets +4. So that was my plan: get to the end game, play this awesome blue card, and get extra value out of it. And I went 3-1 in the pre-release as well. But it only happened once where I pulled it off and came in for 6 in a Arachne mirror, which was great. But yeah, I think for me, Arachne was the most fun to play at the weekend of all the 3 heroes. And that's just because he has so many interactions with destroying your daggers, getting them back, and especially equipping the graphene. How's it called?
The graphene Calicera, something like that.
Okay, something like that.
The graphic calculator.
Let's call it the graphene dagger. Yeah, I'm just looking up the cards, man. Where's the assassin start?
I think it was definitely the hardest hero to play out of all the 3, right out of the box, right? I think especially during the world premiere, a lot of people were still struggling with Arachne.
Yeah. True. So, okay, I got it now. So, if you're looking out for rares in the Arachne pool, Obvious Spinneret is, I think it's almost one mandatory rare you want in your deck. Mm-hmm. Because it's just straight up equip the Graphene Dagger, and your next elf with this turn gets +3 on the red version. So it's a front pump on your stealth attacks. It's a block 3. It gets your dagger. You basically would just want to play it. Even in the blue version, you get into the endgame scenario where you have 1 dagger slot open, and you don't have the Graphene yet. You want to play that. So. And then is why do you want the Graphene? Because it smooths out your whole resource curve. The other dagger costs 2, Graphene dagger costs 1, and it says it's a stealth attack. That's really important. And it's once per turn action, pay 1 attack. And if you attack a marked hero, it gets go again. So actually, if you are the normal marionette Arachne, this dagger comes in for 2. Because it's pumped by your hero ability. So that's why I talk about it. It's the worst thing that can happen is you're at 1 or 2 against Arachne and you're marked. So the Graphene dagger has go again and comes for 2. Yeah. Always. So you just get smashed.
And the other thing is that's also like super nasty is all of the evolutions of Arachne, like whenever he's transformed, they always work on the Graphene Calycera, right? Like it's always an attack with stealth.
Yeah.
So like any of the heroes can pump it by +3. So if he's transformed, you have to like overblock the stupid Calycera, even though it only attacks for 1. It has go again, so you have to block it for 4 or like take damage.
Yeah, or have overblocking it. Yeah.
And then if you don't overblock, they just activate their hero ability and pump it. And if you do overblock, they just don't activate it and play the stealth attack that they had in hand. And then it's gross. Like once you get in those scenarios where you're low in life and you are marked and your opponent has a Graphene Calycera, it's just brutal.
It is. Yeah, I think other stuff you're looking for in the pool, like generally it's assassin, so like all your stealth cards block for free. I think it's the easiest of all the free classes to get a good free block pool with 10 to 11 blues that also block free. It's harder to achieve on the warrior or on the so standout stealth card after that is of course Mark of the Black Widow, which is they banish a card from hand if this hits a marked hero. Then what I really liked as well is the one Mark the Prey. It is when you hit, mark them. So it's like, oh, they're marked. You play it. It comes in, like, assuming you're still on the normal Arachne, it comes in for 4 go again on hit. And also they stay marked on hit. So it's like, this just like kind of blocking it is bad because then you still are marked. And all his stuff is online, but letting it through doesn't change anything. It's like you just win.
Yeah,
and then
there's no good options.
Yeah, there's no good options. And then on the blue side of things, I think Reaper's Call, of course, because it has this text instant discard this mark target opposing hero, which allows for trick plays as well. Also, what I think in Arachne, the equipment is quite important. That you have the handpiece where you can flick the dagger.
The danger digits.
Danger digit is really dangerous.
Yeah.
It has the danger in it. And if you don't have it, there's just so many plays or trick plays. It's like more front up. Because every time this is online, you attack with a stealth attack, you can flick it in the reaction step and push your attack by 1, basically, and make everything relevant again.
And again, once you get down to, like, let's say 3 life, all of a sudden, like, everything is dangerous. Doesn't matter what he does. Like, he can always flick a dagger and, like, put you to 2 and, like, pump his attack by 1 if you weren't already marked. Just stuff like that. Or also, like, it buffs other cards that are, like, online when the hero's marked. Yeah. Just being low life against these decks is very, very bad.
Yeah, it is. Let's see. And there's, of course, the traps as well. You should have 2 to 4 traps in the deck. So if you roll the dice, you get the 6. You swap into the trap Arachne. You can search a trap out of your deck for free and banish it face down. So it doesn't have to be the trap. You can also trick your opponent in thinking it's a trap and they maybe don't attack. Who knows? Could happen. Because they think it's not worth it to attack into the trap anyway. Yeah, it's basically just free value from that. And I think the best trap is the Lair of the Spiders. This is when this defense and attack with go again, mark the attacking hero. Works on against all the 3 heroes, like in the mirror. Against Ninja and Warrior. And then there's Den of the Spider. It is when this defense attack with greater than its base, marked attacking hero. And I think there's also one where the opponent loses a life.
If they play the reaction, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. The go again trap definitely has the best use.
What do you think are some of the cards that you would avoid or that you think are not as good as they seem?
In Arachne, the go again stealth attack is, I guess, what I want it.
The Scuttle the Canal.
Yeah. But the rest is more like like as it's hard to come together in everything. Like you need the traps. You want to generate the dagger, and then you still want some attack reactions as well. And if you open your pool and you don't have the traps, it's like over. If you don't have anything to generate the dagger, it's not that great as well. So
that's what happened to me. I didn't have any way of generating the Graphene Chelicera, and then my deck was so bad. Like it was the only game that I did win was the one where I randomly rolled a 3 and I got to equip it with the transform.
Yep. That's great.
But if you can't make the Chelicera, your hero is just not as good as the other ones, it feels like.
I think so too.
It's very like an integral part of the hero.
And I think he's really good, but it feels so unfair that there's like cards that work specifically against you.
Yeah.
Because you're Arachne, you know, like I don't know what it's called, but it's like a draconic attack.
Yeah.
Oh, there's it. Hunt to the ends of Wraith. When this attacks Arachne, mark them. If this attacking a marked hero, this gets +2. Go again. So it's 4 go again, you are marked. What?
Yeah. It's just like, I feel like that's the only card that feels like really unfair. The equipment is all good, but not insane.
Yeah, it's fine.
But the hunt to the ends of Wraith just feels like so good. I played against one guy who just had 2 of these in his pool, and it was like pretty brutal, honestly.
Good done for.
Yeah,
and hunt to the ends of Wraith is, even if you don't play against Arachne, you still play this card.
Yeah, I think it's still great. Okay.
Yeah.
I think another thing that kind of like sometimes slides under the radar is that Arachne can play all of the equipment except the draconic ones. So he actually has access to like a pretty large equipment pool. I think in the arm slot, you always want the danger digits if you can get it somehow. But all the other slots, like all the equipment is good, right? Like the red alert stuff is good. The go again boots are good. The generic, the assassin warrior ones. All of the blade beckoner plating, or like the blade beckoner armor is like pretty good, except maybe the gauntlets because you want the danger digits there. But those are all like premium pieces of equipment that Arachne gets to play, right? He gets to kind of pick and choose the best equipment for him.
That's true. There's also like, if you have, let's say you have 2 times the headpiece, you once have the leapfrog, and then there's the warrior one.
The red alert, yeah.
The red alert. Which one would you prefer, or do you think it's matchup dependent?
I think it's a little matchup dependent. I like both. I think the red alert is a little bit better if you have, because like sometimes it happens that it's a little bit better if you play against Fang, I have to say, because like what sometimes happens is that they attack and they absolutely have to give this attack go again, or otherwise their hand is dead, and you can just block with 2 red alert equipments, and then they have to play the attack reaction anyway. And then it completely blocks out the attack, right? Because it goes to 4, because both get +1. Or if they have an instant, it just goes to 2, but then your equipment also blocks it out.
Yeah.
So I found that against Fang, the red alert stuff is like pretty premium. Yeah, I mean the leapfrog is also good, also against Fang mostly.
Yeah,
I think all the equipment's better right? Against Fang. Yeah.
It's like they're both against Fang. I feel like for the other 2 heroes, red alert is also probably better.
Yeah, the leapfrog is, it's okay against Arachne because he does have like a bunch of attack reactions, but he can also just like close the chain, so it doesn't really get extra value usually.
I guess it's more of a safety net if he pumps it with the interaction.
Sometimes that's true. Sometimes I feel like the leapfrogs can be like kind of better against Arachne, because every now and then it also happens that like you said before, they attack with an attack. You are not marked. You block for 3. They activate danger digits to mark you with like the dagger, and then you can just like put in a leapfrog equipment to like block up the attack, right?
Okay, so we go leapfrog versus Arachne, and red alert probably versus the other 2.
Yeah. I mean, against Syndra, the generic one is the best, like the Blade Beckoner ones.
Yeah.
Because they block 2 always, because you can defend a dagger and or like a non-dagger and a dagger later in the game.
True, yeah. It doesn't matter if you have Red Alert or Leapfrog against Syndra, because they don't react.
Those two are kind of the same.
Be aware, though, there's Razor Reflex in the set.
Oh, yeah.
That can get you off guard.
And it did get me off guard. I absolutely died to that in the calling, because I did not know that it was in the set.
Also, Sigilov Soda's best card in the game is in the set.
Also lost at that one because I didn't know it was in the set.
Classic generics.
That's how you learn. Okay.
Too sad Patrick isn't here, because we didn't talk about his favorite card at all.
Oh, the defense reaction?
Yeah, lay low.
Lay low?
Yeah, put 4 of lay lows into your deck. And
he swears by this card. It says, if you are marked, you cannot play this. And after that text, I stopped reading the rest of the card, because that's so horrible. But it also says, if the attacking hero is marked, their next attack gets -1, and it is a D-react for 3. It's not horrible. D-reacts are just good in this format. But if you are marked, you can't play this. It's just so bad. I feel like every hero likes to mark. I don't know. But Patrick swears by this card. I don't think it's... I think the liability is just too big.
Yeah, but he won the draft armor with 2 of them in the deck.
He did.
So it must be true, right? Must be good. Oh well, I think that's it about Arachne. Did you get to? Because I played Arachne as well in the calling. Did you get to play some Syndra on the weekend?
Yes, I played some Syndra in the sealed portion after the world premiere. I went 3-1, which surprised me because I didn't think I had such a great pool. But I think Syndra just comes together pretty easy, honestly. She blocks surprisingly well, but you do need a kind of like certain amount of draconic attacks, I found.
Yeah, I think you want to flick the dagger as well. Like
the danger ditches is also very good. Yeah.
Plus, if you get these finishers where you can flick the dagger as well, that's where you get a value out of it.
Yeah. So I think Syndra has like a couple of axes that like make her good. So in general, most of her attacks are on rate, right? They're 1 for 3s, go again, or they're 0 for 3s, go again, or they're 1 for 4s, go again, which is like very average. And the way that you get like extra value is like with the finishers that require fealty tokens. So with the Art of the Dragon cards or with Dragon Power. And the other way you can generate more value is with flick effects like Silver Talons. Yeah. And sometimes also the like Grow Claws and the Fire Tenant Strike First are pretty good. The Grow Wings I found not to be so great, even though it blocks 3. Just like the 0 for 3 go again is just like 0 for 3 conditional go again is just not such a great card. I felt like.
I think like the Fire Tenant Strike First is very good as well, because it's
pretty
basically
good, yeah.
just 4 go again for 0.
Yeah, you need a draconic attack, but usually that's in my experience, it's usually just a dagger. So a lot of the times you just play this attack with a dagger. It's like a 1 for 5 with go again. Pretty good. Other than that, I feel like the very premium cards are the Display Loyalty and Demonstrate Devotion that make a fealty like right away. I thought that was really good. I thought Mark with Magma is very good.
Yeah.
I think the starters are decent, like Ronin Renegade and Dust Runner Outlaw. And then the legendary Wrath of Retribution is insane.
Oh, what a card!
Yeah,
I only played Syndra in the team sealed, where your deck is way better than the usual sealed.
Yeah,
and it got up to like 22 or 23 damage turn with Wrath of Retribution. It was sick. Also, what I really liked in Syndra, like the other legend, like she's playing the legendary cards for sure, like the rare legendary cards. Drop of the Dragon Blood, also very neat in Syndra with that extra resource generated.
Yeah. Yeah, but other than Drop of the Dragon Blood, I actually think the Draconic instants are not as good in her. So I don't think I would play Pledge Fealty, Proclaim Vengeance, or Tooth of the Dragon in Syndra.
Yeah, they don't extend your combat chain.
Yeah,
which is what you want to do.
Yeah, exactly. But of course, stuff like Blaze Headlong, Compounding Anger, some of these Draconic attacks are super, super premium.
Yeah.
Those I would always play.
I think that splits it up a bit between like some cards are better for Fang and some are better for Syndra on the Draconic pool. But I would still say the normal Draconic attacks are still really good in Fang as well.
Especially the ones that are 3 blocks and give you a fealty if your opponent's marked. I think those are all okay. Like the for the Drakai, for the Emperor, for the Realm. I think for the Emperor is the best one, for the Drakai the second best, and for the Realm is like the most awkward one because it just doesn't really fit into your resource card.
Yeah.
It can sometimes be decent when you play Fang and it's just like before you have like out of fealty tokens or something, you can like attack with the first dagger, play some attack reaction, and then follow it up with a 2 for 6. But then it's just like the ability is almost never live because if your dagger hits, which it like should if you have an attack reaction, then like your hero, like the opposing hero, is no longer marked, so you don't get the fealty. So it's like a little of a nombo.
Yeah, I think the Hunter, which is when this attacks, if you play another red card this turn, mark them, is way easier to get off.
Yeah. And then for the Emperor, it just works really nice with Searing Gaze, the one that marks on hit. Because you play Searing Gaze in the second dagger, and then you follow it up with for the Emperor, and it's just devastating. Because not only do you get the fealty for the Emperor, then they also have to block out the 5, or do you get another fealty?
Yeah, then you're almost online. Okay, so another big question.
What do you think is a bit of a trap in Syndra, maybe? The cards that are not so good in Syndra.
Hard to say, actually.
Yeah.
Like you called out Grow Wings, which is weird. Because it's just a filler in between, and then it's just 3 for 0. Did we talk about Dragon Power? I think this is a really good card.
Yeah, Dragon Power is really good. I think all of the Art of the Dragon and Dragon Power are all kind of like the same. They occupy kind of the same slot. Like Art of the Dragon Fire and Dragon Power are kind of like the same thing. One just deals 2 damage right away. The other one comes in for 7. Kind of insane. The one that destroys Arsenal and puts a -1 counter is a little bit less good, but also like decent. Taking a block away from them is also not bad. The other card that I found a little bit underwhelming in Syndra was like Bloodline, the one that costs 2 and is 1 less for each Draconic chain link. Again, it's on the baseline, it's just a 0. Like if you get the ceiling, it's just a 0 for 3 go again that blocks 3. So kind of the same as Grow Wings. And I just think that even though they're 3 blocks, those are not like insanely good. I just always feel like they're awkward.
Well, there's one card we didn't talk about yet, and that's Poison Blade.
Yes, that's true.
This one is whenever a deck or your own hits a hero, this combat chain, they lose 1 life, and I'm not a fan.
I think it's really... You don't like it, or you think it's too good?
It's a trap. I don't like it.
Oh, you don't like it? I disagree a little bit. I think it's quite a good card.
Is it, though?
I always kind of like it. You just kind of arsenal it and wait for a flick effect. I mean, in Syndra, I meant. In Arachne, I kind of agree. I don't love it in Arachne.
Okay.
In Syndra, I mean, in Syndra, it's kind of always good value because I usually try to parry it with a throw yourself at them or just a flick. And then you like play the Poison Blade, attack with a dagger. They have to block out the dagger, which is already annoying. And then you attack with something else. You flick the dagger. they take damage anyways. They lose one more life, and then you get everything back at the end of the chain. It just feels like pretty decent.
Yeah, but like my point against both of these cards, Poison Blade and Throw Yourself at Them, they are 1 cost.
Yeah.
They block for 2, and for themselves, basically, they only attack for 3. So, like Throw Yourself at Them is just like worse than the Ninja's card, where you can just flick. Of course, if you have fealty.
Yeah, but the silver talons.
Yeah, and Poison Blade is it depends on the timing and the opponent. Like, or you have to wait, like Arsenal it maybe, and have to wait for the right moment. But then also it just can get stuck in hand. Like, or you need to have the pitch, you need to have the daggers online. A lot of times you only have, in sealed at least, you have just 1 dagger to play with. The armor is still up of the opponent because you don't threaten a lot of on-hits. So they're just gonna, in your Poison Blade turn, they're just gonna put 1 armor in front of it. Then it's not draconic.
I feel like there's just a certain thing to be said about being able to deal unstoppable damage in this format. And I found it to be kind of relevant in a lot of matchups to be able to deal like 2 points of unstoppable damage.
Yeah.
And like the combo with Poison Blade is if you have a fealty and you have the silver talons in your deck, you wait for your Poison Blade, or like you put your Poison Blade in Arsenal, you wait for your silver talons, then you pitch your blue, you go Poison Blade, dagger, silver talons with the draconic, then you flick a dagger, do 2 damage, you have 3 draconic chainlinks, get the dagger back, right?
Yeah.
That's kind of the dream, and your opponent kind of has to.
And it requires so much.
Yeah, it requires a bit of a combo. I agree. It's not free.
It's not free.
It's not free at all.
Just having 2 daggers at the start of your turn is.
It's then the other dream is if you also have a danger digits, and then you can flick the other dagger as well, and then the value is insane.
Okay, then it's great. Yeah. If you have Poison Blade out and you flick 2 times, what do you want more?
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe I just never really played into that,
I think it requires a bit of setup, and it is definitely some hoop jumping. It's not like it doesn't just happen usually.
You have to be aware of it and to basically plan the game for it to go that way to make the turn.
Up 6 and run, pretty premium, I would say.
Yeah.
Both in Syndra and in Arachne, decent. What about pick up the point?
I see it.
It's the one that also retrieves, but it's just a 0 for 3 going on 2 block.
I would say no to that.
Yeah, I think it's a bit of a trap.
Yeah.
I think it can be okay if you have no other retrieve effects in your deck. I would consider playing 1 or 2 in Arachne. In Syndra, I probably wouldn't play it at all because you can just retrieve your daggers with like a blue or just attacking with draconics.
Maybe if you're like missing out on the graphene and you still want to play Arachne just to get your other dagger back to destroy it again, to get the mark again.
Yeah, I think that's it for our limited tips. There's plenty more to talk about, but we'll figure it out over the coming weeks. What's good and what isn't.
We didn't answer the most important question. What is the best hero in Limited? Like if you let's say you got your like a decent pool like for each hero, which one would you pick? To think this is the.
I think Syndra has the most like high roll potential. Like it has the highest ceiling. Fang has like the lowest the highest floor. So like if you have a bad Fang deck or like a medium Fang deck, it's still pretty good. And Arachne is like somewhere in between. I don't know. It's hard to say.
I think if I would just go for wins, and I had a good pool out of each of them, like same pool, I think I would go for Syndra.
Yeah. I think if you're kind of like at the calling, like at an event that matters, and you're like, I want to do really, really well here, I just want to open like an insane Syndra pool, and then I think that sets you up the best for like 6-0ing the day or like 8-0ing the day or something. But all of the other heroes are also good. Like you can definitely also do that with Fang and Arachne. I would not go as far as to say Syndra's the best hero. It's just kind of like when she gets all the cards, she feels insane.
I think which is super nice for a limited format. Yeah. That we can't really decide on, hey, just go lock into that hero and play the tournament.
Yeah. There were some rumors going around the hall that like Fang is the best hero and you just default to Fang. I think that's completely wrong.
Yeah, same.
And I think it's not at all what you should do.
It's not a just go Tekla Wasson set or just go Florian set or whatever.
Not at all.
Yeah, it's great.
All right. You want to talk a little bit about Classic Constructed? Calling Memphis just happened. It was an American tournament, so the pool was like pretty stacked in Viserai's favor for whatever reason. Not that Viserai is bad by any means, but I think it's a little bit of the tier list impact right there that we saw. We saw 53 Viserais show up, and I don't think Viserai is that far ahead of the curve that like everybody needed to play Viserai. But yeah, the meta looks interesting. Viserai, the most played deck, second most played deck was New with 27. Then Ira with 25. Enigma was still 24. And then the new heroes kind of like show up. So Syndra with 11. Kano with 11, which was interesting. Prism with 11. Oh, Arachne Marionette with 15. I forgot. Zen with 31. So Zen is still around. Yeah, kind of it looks like the meta of ninjas and assassins. Kind of like on the first view. But then if we look at conversion rates today too, like interesting picture kind of emerges. We see Kano has the highest conversion rate with 8 out of the 11 Kanos converting to day 2. That's
crazy.
I think that has a little bit to do with the fact that people were not very prepared for Kano. They brought like redline decks and they just got surprised.
No, just insert 30 minutes of Kano rambling from Patrick here. And then we go
exactly. On. If you are interested in why Kano's good, just listen to our last podcast or any of our other podcasts. Pretty much.
Or the next, maybe.
Or the next one, yeah. What I am a little bit surprised by is like Zen's conversion rate. Only 5 Zens made it to day 2, which seems low. Out of the 31 that attended, only 3 Auroras out of the 19 that attended made it to day 2. But one of them made it to top 8, so still a pretty good result. Yeah.
Yeah, so we have top 8.
If you look at top 8, we have 2 News, 2 Viserais, a Syndra, 1 Aurora, and 2 Kanos. So yeah, pretty interesting top 8. Syndra taking it down, Brody Spurlock piloting her all the way to victory. But a lot of the pros seem to be on Syndra, so it was Brody on Syndra and Yuki Lee Bender on Syndra as well. And the deck's clearly powerful.
Yeah, it looks amazing.
Yeah, like the red line, just pure aggression, ran over everything, faster than Viserai.
Yeah.
New can't stop her. She doesn't really care about disruption. She plays the hand size well. It doesn't matter what.
It's just amazing, like if you can build a deck where you don't have to pitch. I mean, we saw that with Dromai as well.
Yeah, it's kind of been like good throughout Flesh and Blood's history as well.
Yeah.
Do you think Syndra is going to dominate the format coming up?
Probably. I thought about it, like what should I play, right? And then I was thinking about, okay, maybe I just try Syndra as well because she looks a lot of fun. Like the deck of flicking, combat chain things, and finishers, even with some disruption in it, with defense reactions. Yes, like everything you ask for. Then I thought about, okay, what about if people trying to hard counter her with ice? And the only access to ice in the moment is with Jarl. How many people are actually going to play? I saw Hamilton was on a Jarl list as well in the calling. So, and then I also thought, okay, is there more to prevent her? And then there's maybe Azalea and Riptide as well. And then I thought, yeah, I'm more striving to play an aggressive deck. Then I thought, okay, is there another aggressive deck that's better against Jarl and the Rangers and what? Probably not. So maybe she's just maybe she turns just out to be the best aggressive deck. Kano can stop her, of course, because she doesn't have a lot to pitch into it against his combo.
Yeah.
But it didn't help this Kano in the calling because it just
I think Kano just has the problem he always has against aggressive decks is you just need to have it. Yeah. And there's a good chance you do have it. I think Kano is favored in that matchup, but if you don't have it, you just lose. Like there's nothing you can really do.
Yeah. Like you need an early Edel Spindle opt a lot. Yeah. She can't do a lot against the opting because she doesn't want to spend a card to prevent that. So you I guess you get to find your cards fast as well and leak some damage. But yeah, Syndra looking strong with Brody piloting her.
Yeah, definitely kind of the breakout deck from this new set. We will see. I think the meta will adapt. There's other heroes. I feel like maybe more disruption can come back or slower pools. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what the Smash Palace brings as well with some new Guardian tools. We'll see.
I'm thinking. I also thought about maybe assassins can counter, but I don't think so at the moment. I didn't test yet. But just from initial impression that she can just play the red defense reactions as well and then make work of her hand on all kinds of sizes is like it's hard to outvalue her. So
early predictions as Syndra will be, if not the best aggressive deck, definitely one of the top contenders. Yeah, other than that, I don't think any breakout performances. Shout out to the one Vincent who made it to day 2, which was Chris Ayali, I believe.
There were a lot of Vincents in the tournament as well. That was
there were 13
so surprising.
Vincents, and Chris Ayali made it to day 2, which I thought was amazing. Also, Dash.io looked interesting with the new null time zone, kind of blocking out Zens. You just play null time zone, name Inner Chi, and then your opponent can't transcend, which is like interesting.
Yeah, but I played,
probably not enough to put her back.
I played top. 1 or 2 armories with a Hanabi Blaster Dash.io.
Yeah,
and it just felt a bit bland without High Octane. There's like not a lot of stuff you can do.
I think you're missing the like insane turns that like the other aggressive decks can do, right? Like it's even boring. Aurora can just like do an insane turn. Where not she like draws 3 cards.
Not having cards draw and a million action points with it. It's not that appealing.
Yeah. Turns out doing broken stuff is what you need to do.
Yeah, give me tomes back.
I think we'll see how the metagame develops. Maybe Jarl is the answer. Who knows?
Yeah.
Anything else you want to talk about today?
Happy with the new set and looking forward to play CC and draft with it.
Oh, I'm so looking forward to draft. The early drafts we did were super, super fun. Absolutely amazing. All right. Thank you so much for listening to this week's show. You can find us on Twitter under the handle @LDFpod, that's LDFPOD, or on Blue Sky under the handle @PuckWizardPatrick or @SignalJammer. Or you can send us an email at questions@LDF.com. We're looking forward to hearing from all of you and hope you tune in again when it's time for the LDF podcast.